We're Group 1, and our book was Cracking the New Job Market. Cracking the new job market is dependent on 5 important concepts. First, value. Second, value. Third, value. Fourth, value. And finally, you guessed it, fifth, value. Let me start off by asking a question. What makes you think you're valuable to a company? Hannah.
Well, I'm currently working on my marketing degree, and I have a 4.0 in honors college. That makes me valuable, right?
Actually, only 5% of companies consider GPA an important consideration when looking for a job. But let me address your definition of value. The value is in the eye of the beholder. Employers know what they want, they'll go after that. Jobs go disproportionately to those people who focus their value on what the company wants. Frame the truth in terms of what the company needs, not what you think you need. Secondly, value is not about you.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Are you trying to tell me that my college degree isn't valuable? What am I doing here?
Not necessarily. The value of your degree is what the organization makes of it.
Okay, I'm starting to get the overall value picture now. But where does that leave me? Where do I go from here?
That is a very good question, Hannah. The very first round that you have to fight in any job applying process is the resume round. So I'm pretty sure that when it comes to writing resume, most of you were thinking about what you have done, what you deem important, and what you value. But no. It's about creating value for your future employer. There are 3 things that you have to remember when you do that. Number 1, look at the job description carefully and understand what the future employer is looking for. Number 2, tailor your resume and align yourself to meet the employer expectation. And number 3, remember that your resume is a customized version to demonstrate your capability to the future employer. It's not a one-size-fits-all. And here is an example of KPMG internship program. Please take a few seconds to read it and find the keywords. Here are the keywords you should be able to pick up when you read it. Technical skill, problem-solving ability, good team member, passionate, proactive. And here is how you should put your experience. In this case, your degree, your GPA will be valuable in showing your technical skill, and your accomplishment in the business study competition can be valuable in showing your problem-solving ability and teamwork, and your leadership role in a school organization will be very important. And just your college job can be due to show your technical skill too. Remember, when writing resume, use the value-adding words such as define, organize, broad, receive, check, and recorded to show your value, the potential value that you bring to your future employer. And Hannah, if you follow this tip, I guarantee that your resume route will be a piece of cake.
Okay, wow. You know, I never really thought about my resume as being a customizable document. My next question concerns networking. As far as I know, I'm Professor Polsey's favorite student. Do you think that's enough of a network? I mean, surely he can help me find a job, right?
Well, it's funny you'd ask that, because that was the next thing I intended to address. Most people are under the mistaken assumption that a handful of close connections will be what ultimately secures them their first job or internship. But in reality, about 60% of jobs that are garnered through networking are done through weak and not through strong connections. That seems counterintuitive. How would someone we barely know help us? But if you think about it, the average person can only keep in contact with about 200 people at a given time. Once you factor out family and friends, it's a very limited pool of professional contacts to draw on. But when you expand the circle to include weak connections, all of a sudden you have potentially thousands of people who could refer you internships and job opportunities. This is where our technological skills as young people can really allow us to excel and confer on us an advantage that our older peers perhaps do not. LinkedIn is probably the major way we can forge indirect connections or weak connections with people in the industries we're trying to enter. And even Twitter and Facebook can be helpful to a lesser extent. The goal isn't just to create a bunch of weak connections, it's to have those people know that you're actively seeking opportunities and asking their friends and peers to see if they can find something for you. The goal is to create a spider web of these weak connections that will relay information and opportunities back to you. It's not necessarily who you know, it's who they know.
All right, I see what you mean. I bet Dr. Watson knows a lot of people. I'll start becoming his favorite student.
Well, speaking of Dr. Watson, what have you done in college to showcase your ability to communicate effectively? Employers usually list that as the #1 skill they're looking for when they're looking for new students to fill their entry-level hires.
You know, I haven't really gotten involved in much. What's your take? What are the best kind of organizations to get involved in that demonstrate the ability to communicate effectively? And better yet, which ones will show that I have the most value to an employer?
Well, off the top of my head, business competitions are a great way to showcase your ability to communicate effectively in public speaking or writing events. Beyond that, competitions are a great way to showcase technical skills as well. But when it comes to organizations that help you create value for an employer, both large and small organizations have their distinct advantages. Larger organizations have a large pool of alumni, faculty or industry sponsors, or other students who can serve as weak connections. But smaller organizations allow you the opportunity to really shine. You can make an impact that you can quantify, demonstrate to a company, put on your resume, and use to show the value that you added to that particular situation.
Okay, well right now my resume seems pretty full. When I get involved in more activities, how do I pick and choose what to put in my resume? And how do I possibly keep track of everything? I don't want to forget anything when it's time to apply for jobs.
That's a good point. You wouldn't want to forget about a certain activity that would be important for applying for a certain job. Because remember, value obscured is value wasted. It'd be a good idea to have a notated ledger listing all the job-related info that you might need for applying for a new job, such as dates, employer info, prior work locations, and other awards or achievements that you may have gained while working in college. Hannah, do you think you're starting to grasp these concepts on how to create value for yourself?
Yes, I think I am. Correct me if I'm wrong, but when it comes to value, value is all in the eyes of the beholder, which in this case is a potential employer. Second, what the employer values is written in the job description, so it is important to identify keywords in the job description and tailor my resume accordingly in order to demonstrate my value. When it comes to networking, multiple weak ties can be the most important. Lastly, communication is the absolute key to success because
value obscured is value wasted.